Getting closer to the end of Cicero. 147. Skis. Hunk, he, habere nihil. He has nothing. Ordere nihil. He does nothing. Nihil posse. He's not able to do anything. Nihil umquam contra rem tuam cogitisi. So he's never ever thought anything contrary to your rem. Tuam's the possessive. Rem would be to do with wealth here, against your financial interests or that sort of thing. Et tamen, and nevertheless, opugnas, you're attacking, him, quem whom, neque, neither potes metwe, whom you're not able to fear, nor debes, nor you ought to Odyssey, you should not hate him, nor quicquam, nor anything, now you see that he has reliquy, that he, we'll take that as he has nothing left, anything that you might want. Quod, that, ei, take that from him, possis, you're able to detract or to take away from him. So that whole little section there, he's got nothing, dares nothing, he's not able to do anything, he's not going against you, but nevertheless you're attacking him, who you shouldn't fear and you oughtn't to hate, and he has nothing left which you can take away from him. Nisi, unless or except, hoc indignum putas, unless you think this to be indignum, that vides, you see him in judicio, in this courtroom, in the judiciary, sedere, sitting, vestitum, wearing clothes, quem whom, to you, from his patrimony, from his inheritance, expulsi, you've driven him out, tamquam, just as if he is nude from a shipwreck, a naufragio. Quasi, as if, vero post positive, so but as if, nescius, you're ignorant or you don't know that hunk he, et ali et vestiri, so we have et correlatives, both his aliment or his food and his vestiri, how he's dressed, is a, means from, Caecilia, comes from Caecilia, his food and clothing, the filia Balacari, the daughter of whoever that is, the still keeping with this ablative function here, the sister of Nepotis, she's a spectissima femina, a superlative to look at woman, who, where's that relative? She has a patrum clarissima, she had a very famous father, amplissimos patroos, these are the uncles on the father's side, very ample, or eminent or famous, haberet she has. And her fratrum, her brother, is ornatissimum, another superlative, he's very decorated or respected. Tama, nevertheless, since she is a woman, and in her virtue, honor and stuff like that, perfecit, ut quanto, so in as much honor she's affected with from the dignitate illorum, from these the honors of these men who we saw mentioned before, as the aurum of the second declension, so that would be a patrum and patros and fratrum. So she's got some honour from them for herself, but non minora, not less. She gets laud or praise from her own ornamenta, illis. So because of her family, she's got a bit of honour, but not less as she get this praise by her own actions. 148, and it's a type of question, or whether. Quod, could be quad clause, because diligently is defended. This to you, Viditor, does this seem an indignum facinus, an unworthy sort of action or deed that is diligently defended? Creed, looks like imperative singular. Believe me, mihi, si pro patris huis hospitis. Okay, so pro means for here. Hospitus, they have these obligations of hospitality, like someone will stay at your place and you'll stay at them. So who is patris of his father? So these guests of his father and people like this, and the Gratia, it's pleasing, valiant. All these people want to be at SA, to be here, who have hospites to him, or have links of this hospitality, so it's his friends, and orderant, and they dare to defend him, libere, take that as an adverb, freely. He is defended satisfactorily or enough and copiously. So, are they being offended that he's being defended? It's a pretty good speech, really. But believe me, all these people, they want to be here and they want him to be defended, basically. Sin autem, since just if with a bit of a negative thing. Autem again, moreover. However, if you, pro magnitude is in the ablative because of the pro, if by the magnitude of this inuria, and again, iuria is the justice, so inuria is a wrongdoing or an injustice, and pro eo, this thing which is in the highest interest, summa is a very high thing in the republic, so the magnitude of this injustice, and because of this thing that is very high interest in the republic, that he is being tempted or is being who is pericula in this type of danger. If everyone in these sort of situations were vindicated, if they were all punished, me Hercules, I'll whack that together. By Hercules, non liqueret is here, takes the infinitive, and it's a bit like a posse. It also takes the dative of person, so it will not be allowed to you to consisterate to stand here in isto loco, in this place. So if everyone in these times of periculo and danger, if everyone here was punished for these sort of things, it would not be allowed for all of you to be standing in this place. Nunc inter defenderatur. Iter usually means in such a way. So now that he's defended in such a way, non sane. Looks like we have iter ut here. So he's defended in such a way, so not clearly, that debient adversaries, so that the adversaries, these people against him, they ought to not clearly bear this moleste with trouble or in a bad way, and neque, and nor that puterent, they should think, say themselves, superari, to be overcome by potentia, by a strong force. 149. Quae domi gerenda sunt. So the things which are carried on at home, they are transigated, they are transacted or done per Caecilia, who I believe would be this woman who we saw mentioned there. And any rationale, the reasoning of the forum and of the judici and of the courtroom, ut viditus, as you see, vocative gentleman of the jury again, M. Masala has suscepted these. He's taken up this responsibility or something. Who, see if Yam, now he was satis aetatis, if he was satisfactorily of age, or if he was old enough, haberent and roborus, and if he was strong enough. So aetatis of the age, roborus is how strong he is. Himself, ipsi, he would diceret, he would speak or plead pro for Sextus Roscius. And then what have we got down to there? Quoniam, nice simple sense. He just takes the indicative compared to some other ones. In an impedimento est, to him speaking or being a lawyer, the impediment, his age and his pudor, it's his shame or respect or whatever. He's handed it to me, this case, and his age is an ornament to him. So, what do we got here? Looks like he was understanding, intellibating that Cicero desired the case and he was owed it to them to do it. Deborah has that sense of owing, so there's some sort of tie between them. Anyway, so there was an impediment to him speaking, and his age and modesty held him. So he handed it to Cicero to do it, but himself, this boy, he was there assiduously, so constantly, in concilio, making plans, and with his auctoritas, with his authority and connections, and with his diligence, and he fecunded it, he made it so that the vita, the life of Sextus Roscius, which been erupted from him, so it would be erupted from the manibus of the sectorums. The sectorums are the brokers, which we saw early on, and so his life should be permitted to the sententias, to the outcome or verdict of the law courts of the judges in this case. Nimiram judice, so obviously Nimiram judices, gentlemen of the jury again, pro this nobility, the pars maxima, the greater part of the citizenry, of the citizens, for these nobles, forward in arms. They were in arms for these, for this nobility. Haec acta res, the matter was done, so that nobles restituted, so that it was restored to the nobles were restored into their civil rights or their citizenship. Qui hoc facerant, those who faceranted, videtis. You see these doing what Masalam did, doing these types of things. Who decided to defend the caput, the head of the innocent. Another qui clause, who they resisted these injustices. Another qui, who as much as they were able, into the salute, into the safety, alteris of another person, he rather they preferred to do, quam, than to ostendere, to show them into exito, into death. So basically, is what Masala is one of these type of people who wants to defend the innocent, resist injustices, and provide some safety for other person rather than preferring to put him into destruction, basically. Quod si omnes, so that if everyone who natai sunt, who were born in the same loco, in the same ranking or placings, if they faceranted, if they did this, and the Republica, from these type of people, ex illis, it would laborant, it would suffer or labour minus less from this invidia, which is usually envy and begrudging, etc. sort of thing. 150, part A. Virum, but if from Caesar genus, gentlemen, we cannot in petrimus, which means you ask for something and you obtain it. So if we cannot get from Caesar genus that contentus it, that he's contentus with pecunia nostris, with our money, let's make it so nay, that he doesn't seek life, okay? See, if he adducted, who was not able, non-potest, so he's not able to be content with what he is adderemerit, what he is taken away, driven off, everything which is propria, which belongs, so omnia, everything which is propria belongs to us, which is ours, and also quoque, not even the lucem, not even the light, this thing which is communis, which is common to everyone, cupiat, that he desires to irreparate, to take away. If he's not satis with his avaritium, with his avarice, with his greed, to explorate, to fill himself up with pecunia, with money, and unless except praebitus sit, so that he's entrusted, or not entrusted, he's given with all this cruel blood, so basically, so we have the money and greed there, and here we have cruelty and blood. This one perfugium, this one refuge, gentlemen, this una spes, this one hope is reliqua est, is left. The same for Sextus Roscio, which is to the Republic, that your bonatas, your good kind-heartedness, and your misericordia, your pity, of the pristine, which is of former times. I'll just bring up a word here. Yep, so pray beret. So unless blood is offered to his cruelty, so it just means offer usually. We have cause and render, etc. But yeah, basically there's a lot of ifs in this bit. So if he's not content with the money, his life, if he's not led that he's content with what he's driven away from us, everything which we own, and not even the light which is common to all, he's take away. If he's not satisfied with his greed to fill up with pecunia, unless even he needs to be offered all his blood to his cruelness. If there's one refuge is left, gentlemen, there's one hope. It's also even here to the Republic and the Sextus Roscius that former goodness and pity is given in this case. The end.